The wine moves gently across the wide-open fields of Alberta, carrying with it the echoes of untold stories. For years, one name has lingered in the hearts of fans, a name tied to courage, dreams, and the spirit of the horse. Now, that name is about to return. Georgie, the girl who once galloped into our hearts with fiery determination, is finally coming home. And with her return, Heartland enters a new chapter, one filled with promises, challenges, and the kind of emotion that only this beloved ranch can hold. Alberta has always been more than just a setting. It is the soul of Heartland, a place where generations of the Bartlett-Fleming family have faced storms and sunshine, love and loss. Season after season, this land has been a silent witness to their struggles and triumphs, their laughter and their tears. But as the 19th season begins, the return of Georgie changes everything. She is not just another character stepping back onto familiar soil. She is a symbol of the past colliding with the present and a reminder of how far the family has come. Her journey away from Heartland was filled with ambition and dreams, but now, walking back through those barn doors, it feels as though destiny has pulled her home. And when destiny calls, the entire ranch listens. Georgie has always carried with her unique fire, one that could not be dimmed even in her absence. Viewers remember her as the girl who connected deeply with horses, who saw beyond their strength into their spirit. That bond was what made her stand apart, not just as a rider, but as someone who belonged to Heartland in a way that no distance could erase. As she returns, the question is not whether the ranch will accept her, but whether she can once again find her place in a family that has grown, changed, and faced battles of its own. The ranch is never still. Time does not wait. For Amy, for Jack, for Lou, and for the younger generation, the return of Georgie brings joy, but it also brings questions, tensions, and the unshakable weight of the past. When Georgie left, she did so with dreams of carving out a bigger life, of proving to herself that she could reach beyond the boundaries of the ranch and make her mark on the world. She trained, competed, and grew stronger, learning lessons that only distance could teach. But Heartland was never truly out of her heart. Every step she took away from Alberta led her, somehow, back to the place where her spirit had first taken flight. Now, as the gates open before her once more, she steps into a world both familiar and changed, a home both comforting and challenging. The fields stretch wide, the horses run free, but the people she loves have faced their own storms. Reuniting will not be simple. Healing rarely is. Yet the beauty of Heartland has always been that love, no matter how tested, finds its way back. For longtime fans, Georgie's return is not just a storyline, it is a homecoming they have been waiting for. The emotions tied to her journey echo the emotions of the viewers themselves, the longing to see her ride across the Alberta fields, the hope of watching her rediscover her place in the family, and the thrill of knowing her presence will stir up the steady rhythm of ranch life. But as much as her return is a cause for celebration, it also opens the door to new conflicts. Dreams do not always fit neatly within the walls of a home, and the push and pull between belonging and ambition will test Georgie in ways she has never faced before. Heartland has always been a story about family, but families grow by confronting the hardest truths. Season 19 will remind us of this once again. The ranch breathes with history, every fence and stable echoing with memories of those who came before. Georgie steps back into that history, carrying with her the strength of the young girl fans remember and the maturity of the woman she has become. She is both a bridge to the past and a light for the future. With her return, Alberta itself seems to shift. The sunsets feel brighter, the gallop of hooves stronger, and the air thicker with possibility. Something is stirring at Heartland, and it all begins with one girl, one horse, and the courage to come home. The heart of Heartland has always been family, not just the blood that ties them together, but the bonds that are built through love, trust, and resilience. When Georgie returns to Alberta, those bonds are immediately tested in ways no one could have predicted. The Bartlett-Fleming family has endured heartbreak, triumph, and endless challenges, but her presence stirs old memories and awakens new questions. For Amy, the return of her niece is both comforting and unsettling. She sees in Georgie the same fiery determination she once carried, the same hunger to prove herself not only to others, but to the world. Yet Amy also knows the price of chasing dreams, the sacrifices demanded by ambition, and the heartbreak of losing balance between family and passion. In Georgie's eyes, she sees both the young rider she trained years ago and the woman who has been shaped by distance, victories, and struggles. Jack, ever the steady hand of the ranch, finds himself caught between pride and caution. To him, Georgie will always be that spirited girl who learned lessons the hard way but carried them with courage. He admires her growth, yet he worries deeply about what her return truly means. The ranch is not just a home, it is a responsibility, one that demands strength, patience, and sacrifice. Jack has spent his life guiding the family through storms, and now, with Georgie's reappearance, he wonders if the challenges of the past will repeat themselves. Can she truly stay, or is this only a pause before she takes flight again? For Jack, family is about staying the course, no matter the obstacles. And so, while his heart softens at seeing her step back onto the land, his wisdom tells him to guard against disappointment. Lou, balancing her own world of family and career, views Georgie's return through another lens entirely. To her, this is a chance for healing, for reconnection, for rebuilding the sense of unity that Heartland thrives on. Yet Lou also knows that life has changed, the ranch has changed. The people within it have carried their own burdens, and Georgie's re-entry does not simply erase those struggles. It adds new layers. Lou's instinct is to nurture, to mend what has been frayed, but she also knows the reality of balancing expectations with reality. Family is not perfect. Love is not without scars, and Georgie's return will force every member of the household to confront what they have gained and what they have lost. Beyond the walls of the ranch house and the open fields, there is the presence of the horses, creatures who have always mirrored the emotions of those who care for them. They too sense the shift in energy. Georgie's bond with Phoenix, her loyal horse, is central to this story. Theirs is a connection forged in trust, tested in absence, and now renewed with her return. Watching her reunite with Phoenix reminds everyone of the inseparable ties between human and animal, between freedom and belonging. This reunion becomes a symbol for the family itself, a reminder that even after time apart, even after distance and silence, bonds can be restored with patience, love, and faith. But no return is without conflict. Georgie's journey away from Heartland gave her a taste of independence, of success, of a life that stretched beyond Alberta's fields. That taste does not simply vanish. She carries within her a restless spirit, a desire to chase dreams that may not align with the steady rhythm of ranch life. This creates friction, moments of tension where her passion collides with the traditions and responsibilities of the ranch. For Amy, this is a mirror of her own struggles, the constant push and pull between what the heart wants and what the land requires. For Jack, it is a test of patience and wisdom as he watches another generation wrestle with choices he has seen before. For Lou, it is a chance to prove that family, though imperfect, is the strongest foundation anyone can return to. The beauty of Heartland has always been its ability to reflect real life, the messiness of relationships, the struggles of chasing dreams, the ache of distance, and the joy of reunion. Georgie's return embodies all of these elements. Her story is not one of easy answers or perfect resolutions. It is one of growth, of facing difficult truths, and of finding strength in the people who stand beside you. As the season unfolds, viewers will see the Bartlett-Fleming family not as flawless heroes, but as people who stumble, who disagree, who hurt, and yet always come back to the table because family is worth it. Season 19 promises to take fans deeper into these relationships than ever before. The quiet conversations between Amy and Georgie filled with unspoken emotions. The heartfelt advice from Jack, sometimes stern, sometimes tender, always wise. The efforts by Lou to hold everyone together, to remind them that love is not measured by perfection, but by perseverance. And above it all, the land itself, vast, unchanging, and eternal, holding them close, reminding them that no matter the conflicts, Heartland is where the family begins and ends. Every return comes with shadows, and Georgie's is no different. For all the joy her presence brings, it also stirs up a storm beneath the calm surface of Heartland. Time has a way of changing people, of reshaping priorities, and what once felt familiar can suddenly feel foreign. Georgie, standing once again on Alberta soil, faces this truth almost immediately. She left the ranch with a hunger for greatness, to prove herself on the international stage. And though her victories brought pride to the family, they also created distance. Now, that same ambition threatens to clash with the rhythm of ranch life, a rhythm that runs on patience, sacrifice, and tradition. Amy, though glad to see her niece again, cannot ignore the flicker of tension building between them. Where Amy has chosen to root herself in Heartland, balancing her gift for horses with her responsibility to family, Georgie still carries the restless fire of chasing the next challenge. That fire, while admirable, is unpredictable. Amy sees in Georgie a reflection of her younger self, the passion, the drive, the relentless desire to push boundaries. But she also sees the dangers of burning too brightly, of letting ambition outrun stability. This recognition creates a silent struggle between them, a mix of admiration and worrying, of pride and fear. The unspoken question hangs heavy in the air. Will Georgie stay, or will she leave again? Jack, who has weathered more storms than anyone else at the ranch, senses the brewing conflict. His wisdom tells him that love for the ranch is not enough to keep someone tethered to it. He knows from his own scars that the world outside can pull harder than the strongest family bonds. Watching Georgie walk the land he has spent his life protecting, he feels both pride and unease. He knows she belongs here, yet he also knows that belonging is not always enough. Jack's gruff words and sharp glances carry layers of meaning, encouragement laced with warning, affection mixed with doubt. He will always open the door for family, but he refuses to blind himself to the truth that every return carries the risk of another goodbye. Tension also rises with Lou, who struggles to balance her role as peacemaker with the realities of her own life. She wants to embrace Georgie's return with open arms, to restore a sense of unity that time has fractured. Yet she cannot ignore the strain it places on everyone. Family dinners become quieter, conversations more cautious, as old wounds and new fears hover over the table. Lou, ever the mediator, knows that healing takes more than presence. It takes honesty, and honesty is rarely gentle. For her, Georgie's return is both a blessing and a test, a reminder that love demands effort, and that reconciliation is often messy before it is beautiful. But the deepest conflict may not lie between Georgie and her family, but within Georgie herself. She is caught between two worlds, the thrill of chasing her dreams beyond Alberta and the warmth of belonging that only Heartland can give her. Both pull at her heart, and neither is easy to let go. Her time away taught her independence, resilience, and ambition, but it also taught her loneliness. At Heartland, she feels the comfort of home, the grounding power of family, but she also feels the fear of being tied down, of losing the freedom she fought so hard to claim. This internal battle becomes the heartbeat of her story, the question that drives every decision she makes this season. Conflict is not limited to emotions alone. The ranch itself faces challenges that add pressure to an already fragile balance. Unpredictable weather threatens the land, business struggles test Lou's leadership, and the care of the horses demands constant effort. Heartland has never been a place of ease. It is built on resilience, and Georgie must decide if she has the strength to take her place in that cycle again. Every day at the ranch is a reminder that love for this life is not enough. It requires sacrifice, patience, and a willingness to endure hardship. The question is whether Georgie, after years away, can shoulder that responsibility once more. Viewers will feel the weight of this conflict in every interaction, every quiet pause, every lingering look. The smiles are genuine, but they are shadowed by questions unasked and answers unspoken. The laughter around the table is real, but it trembles with the fear of loss. The embraces are warm, but they carry the memory of past goodbyes. Heartland has always shown that family is about facing these tensions, about standing together not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Season 19 pushes this truth to the forefront, making every moment with Georgie a reminder that love and conflict are inseparable, that one cannot exist without the other. And yet, it is precisely within this tension that the magic of Heartland shines brightest, because conflict does not mean breaking apart. It means the chance to grow stronger. Georgie's struggles, her family's doubts, and the challenges of the ranch all combine into a storm that could tear them apart or bind them closer than ever before. The outcome is uncertain, the path ahead unsteady, but one truth remains clear. Heartland is a place where even the deepest wounds can heal, where conflict can lead to understanding, and where love, no matter how tested, refuses to fade. In every story, there comes a moment when choices must be made, when silence can no longer carry the weight of unspoken truths. At Heartland, Georgie's return builds towards such a moment, one that will define not only her future, but the family's. For weeks, she has walked the fields, reunited with the horses, shared meals around the table, and yet an invisible question lingers in every corner of the ranch. Is she here to stay? Or is this only a chapter before she leaves once more? The uncertainty presses on everyone differently. For Amy, it feels like standing on the edge of a memory, not knowing if it will fade or take root. For Jack, it is a test of patience, of trusting that the family's love will be enough. For Lou, it is the delicate work of holding fragile pieces together. And for Georgie, it is a battle inside her own heart, one that no one else can fight for her. The conflict peaks in subtle but powerful ways. A quiet conversation between Georgie and Amy turns into a raw exchange, each one confronting the fears they have kept hidden. Amy admits the worrying that Georgie's restless fire will never let her settle, while Georgie reveals the loneliness that success away from home has left her with. Their voices may rise, their emotions may spill over, but beneath the tension is love, love that refuses to give up, love that aches to understand. This moment is not about winning an argument, but about exposing the truth that both women are driven by the same need to belong, even if their paths look different. Meanwhile, Jack, carrying the wisdom of decades, reminds Georgie of what Heartland has always stood for: not trophies, not ambition, not even the victories that shine on paper, but the unbreakable strength of family. He speaks not as a man demanding her to stay, but as someone who has seen the cost of chasing horizons without roots. His words, gentle but firm, cut through the noise. Jack does not tell Georgie what to choose. He simply reminds her that home is not a chain, but a foundation, a place strong enough to hold her dreams without taking them away. In that wisdom lies the balance Georgie has been searching for, the realization that she does not have to abandon one part of herself to honor the other. The climax of this emotional journey comes not in loud declarations, but in a single, quiet moment. Georgie rides Phoenix across the Alberta fields, the wind in her hair, the land stretching endlessly before her. It is a ride that mirrors her journey, freedom and belonging, ambition and love, colliding in every gallop. As the family watches from the distance, something unspoken passes between them, a recognition that no matter what the future holds, Georgie's place in their hearts is unshakable. She may leave again, she may stay, but the bond has been renewed, and that bond is enough to carry them forward. Heartland's magic has always been its ability to blend hardship with hope, conflict with healing. Season 19 captures this balance with Georgie's return, showing that life at the ranch is not about perfect harmony, but about facing the storms together. The family may not have all the answers, but they have each other, and that is what gives their story its strength. The ranch endures because the people within it endure, because love proves stronger than distance, and because every return, no matter how uncertain, carries with it the chance for new beginnings. As the season builds to its conclusion, viewers are left with the image of Heartland itself, golden fields glowing under the sunset, horses running free, and a family standing united, even in their imperfections. Georgie's return does not solve every problem, nor does it erase the scars of time apart. But it brings light back to the ranch, a reminder that home is not defined by permanence, but by love that waits patiently, even when miles and years stretch. In between, the message of this chapter is clear. Coming home is not about leaving everything else behind. It is about rediscovering the parts of yourself that can only be found where your heart first began to beat freely. For Georgie, that place will always be Alberta. For the Bartlett-Fleming family, it is the reassurance that no matter how far their loved ones travel, Heartland will always call them back. And for the fans, it is a reminder of why this story continues to matter, season after season, because at its core, Heartland is not about horses or land, but about family, love, and the unshakable hope that tomorrow